Today, I want to talk about personal brand. And before we get into the topic, I'm going to tell you, based on my personal experience, why it's so important to build your personal brand. So there were 3 occasions where I realized there's something lacking in me. First thing was growing up, I was always this shy, introverted kid, and no one thought anything great about me. They never thought that, okay, I'll become who I am today. They constantly kept ignoring me, and there were a lot of smarter people around me, and I tried to live up to their expectations, and I tried to do the same things they did, but they kept seeing success compared to me. And I don't know why that was happening. So that is number 1. Number 2, so when I came to the United States as an immigrant, a lot of people who have read my book or who follow me know my story, where in 2009 alone, I applied for 1,293 jobs. And since then, I've attended like 200 plus interviews. And during those interviews, every time I used to get to the final round of the interview, but then I used to get rejected. Although I had the same credentials of other people, and then I had the same qualifications on paper, still other people were getting selected instead of me. I was wondering what the hell was happening. So that is number 2. The third quick story is, so now I entered the tech space. I have a full-time job, and when I was looking for promotions or looking for the performance bonuses, other people used to get the bonuses and the promotions instead of me. Although I did the similar kind of things, I had the same kind of qualifications, and I didn't know why the hell this was happening. Do any of you relate to this? If so, yeah, you can put it in the chat window, say a thumbs up, because this is a common thing which people face. You put in so much effort, so much hard work, but you never get recognized for it. That's where your personal brand comes into picture, because I found out that your personal brand is the number 1 thing which is going to set you miles apart from the competition. And I learned it late in my life, and now since you're attending this LinkedIn Live, you're going to learn different strategies on how to build your personal brand. Because this is the thing, folks. Say you have a product, okay, and you want to sell a product or a service. Why should people buy from you? Say you want to get promoted, or you want that performance bonus, or you want to get the job. Why should people hire you when compared to other people? That's where your personal brand comes in a picture. Because the landscape of how jobs work have changed in the past decade. Before, it was about the degree, the certification, your experience. But now, it's about all these things packaged together in a shiny new way to help you stand out from the crowd. And I'm going to tell you what that actually means, right? So let's just take a step back just to understand what actually personal brand means. Say, for example, you've been using your favorite brand of body wash, okay? Say you've been using this body wash for 8 years, okay? You're buying that body wash not just because of the color, not just because of the packaging, not just because of the cost, not just because how durable it is, not just because of the fragrance, but it's a multiple facets of that body wash which is making you go buy it again and again. And our personal brand is the same way. It's not just because you have the degree. It's not just because you had the blog post. It's not just because you had that speaking gig, but it's about all these things packaged together in a way you make people notice you. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to building your personal brand. And again, for those folks who just joined, we were just getting started about my story of how I realized personal branding is so important. And now I'm going to share different strategies on how to build your personal brand. And as and when, if you have questions, Make sure you put that in the comments below. I will go through them and answer each one of them, okay? So, as I was saying, the landscape of jobs have changed. The way you market yourself is really, really important. Your personal branding is going to be the one single key thing which is going to make you stand out from the crowd. So how do we go about building your personal brand? For example, how an average guy like me, who came from nothing to becoming an international keynote speaker, author, and tech career strategist, how did this transformation happen? And again, I am an average guy, but the way I showcase my skills, the way I do things makes it attractive, and I'm going to literally tell you exactly what I do. And you folks can follow this to build your personal brand as well. So first thing first is you have to be clear on what you want to do in life, right? Before even building your personal brand, you need to know how you want to build it, why you're building it, what's your focus. That's one of the things which is missing in the majority of people, because they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. And here's a simple exercise to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. So just take a paper and a pen, okay? And you can do this even after the session. Put a line through the middle of the paper, okay? On the left column, write down all the things you love to do or you hate to do. And then on the right column, write down all the things you don't want to do and you hate to do and you don't want to do anymore. And this is called the mind dump exercise. I know I talk about it quite a bit, but it's so freaking important because that's the simplest thing which is going to give you so much value and so much focus for all the efforts you're putting in your career and your personal development. So what this mind dump exercise is going to do is, this is the thing, folks, all the things you want to do in life is actually in your mind. You just have to unravel it one by one and make it visual and put it on paper. And that's what this mind dump exercise does. When you write down all the things you love to do and then you don't want to do and you hate to do, you are trying to figure out different patterns in terms of where you want to focus your skills. And do this exercise for an hour in an uninterrupted manner. No Facebooking, no text messaging, because you really want to let your mind flow. And what this is going to do for you is it's going to help you figure out different patterns about what you want to do in life. So say, for example, you find out your strengths are, you're really good in communication, you're really good in listening to people, you're really good in convincing people, then maybe getting into sales or marketing could be a really good job option or career option for you. This is just a random example, but similarly, you can find out different patterns by just doing this mind dump exercise. And again, I'm going to post links to the mind dump exercise where you can download the template as well after I finish the session. So make sure you follow along and look at the comments, because I'm going to put links for all these things. You can download a free template of the mind dump exercise, which tells you how to do it. But that's the first thing. When you do the mind dump exercise, then you'll figure out different career options and what career options to focus on, right? And say you have 7 to 8 career options. I would say pick the top 3, okay? And then start with the first career option, then experiment with it for a couple of months and see how it's going. So say, for example, you want to be I'm just giving a random example here. Say one of the things you identified was to be a data analyst. In fact, I was talking to a person the other day about being a data analyst. What you could do is, based on the mind dump exercise, okay, you figured out being a data analyst could be a really good option for you. So come up with a strategy on what you are actually going to do to become a data analyst, or experiment with it. That's the key, experimentation. Time box it for 2 months. For 2 months, I'm going to figure out different things I want to do in terms of data analysis and see whether that's my cup of tea, and come up with a strategy. So that brings me to the second point. So the first was mind dump exercise in the path to building a personal brand. The second thing is you need to figure out a vision, the vision, goals, and tasks you want to do to focus. Going with the same example of data analysis, say my vision in the future is to be a data scientist, because data analyst is a good pathway to be a data scientist, right? But it's good to start with being a data analyst. Okay, so my vision is to be a data scientist. So a vision is what you want to be in the future, how you see yourself in the future. That is the vision. Next, you have to identify the goals to reach that vision. So when I say, hey, Sanjay, so when I say goals, let's go with the same example of trying to become a data analyst, right? So some of the goals could be to complete a course on data analysis, get a certification to be a data analyst. And another goal could be build your network when it comes to data analysts. And again, I'm just giving random examples here. So those could be the goals to reach that vision. Now you have the goals. The next thing is you have to identify the tasks associated with each and every goal. So again, going with the same example, say one of the goals was to complete a course on data analysis. The task for that would be, okay, what are the different courses available for data analysis? Okay. Second thing is you have to choose a course which you want to take. Third, you have to set time every week to take that course. You have to time box it. Fourth, you have to probably, complete the course successfully, and then you have to add that on your LinkedIn profile. See how just with one goal, you have so many different tasks you have to do. So start with a mind up exercise, have clear vision, goals, and tasks on what you want to do, where you want to go. And then now we can talk about how to amplify your impact. And these are the exact same things I do every single day. And this is the exact same things I've done to transform my life from a nobody to somebody, right? Who's talking to you in front of you right now. So once you do that, the next thing is you want to build your social media footprint. That's so important, folks. So what do I actually mean by that? We live in a digital age, okay? And you get noticed by the things you do on social media. Fortunately or unfortunately, that is the case. So you really have to be active on social media and build your social media footprint. So how do you build your social media footprint? There's different steps to that. The first thing is you have to choose a platform, okay? So if you are joining this session, I'm assuming most of the folks are in tech or want to be in tech or are tech professionals or IT professionals, I'm assuming, but if not, it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to leave the live session. But the point is, I know my audience, the people I talk to, are tech folks, because literally that's my job. I help tech folks find their dream job and become successful leaders in the industry. I speak to tech folks, that's my audience. So they live on LinkedIn. So that's the platform I chose to start building my brand. But say if you're a photographer or you want to get out of the tech space and become, I don't know, a fitness guru, or you have your own selling business or whatever, then probably Instagram or Facebook could be a really good platform for you. Just because I'm using LinkedIn and other people are using LinkedIn doesn't mean that you have to use LinkedIn, folks. You need to really figure out who your ideal audiences are, right? If you're in photography, the best option is going on Instagram, because literally people scroll to look at these pictures. So the first step in building a social media footprint is identifying a platform where your ideal audience live. The second thing is you have to start posting content. And again, people think that, okay, posting content means you have to post every single day. No, because it all boils down to consistency. You could even post just once a week, but you have to make sure you post on that particular day at that particular time, because your audience, once you start building an audience, they're going to expect content at that particular time, because you're getting into their heads that, okay, this person is constantly posting at this particular time, right? So you have to come up with a plan in terms of, okay, how much bandwidth do I have and how much content I could post. So for me, for example, I post 6 times a week. That's because I've been doing this for a while and I have a whole content marketing strategy plan, which I'll talk about in a second. But to get started, I would just say post once a week. That's it. Okay. And then start commenting on other people's posts. Okay. So on LinkedIn, if you go to your profile, there's an option called improve my feed. Okay. Not a lot of people talk about this. On improve my feed, you can actually follow different hashtags which you want to follow, which you want to get notified about. So say, for example, my expertise is in test automation, software testing, software development, and I make sure I follow these hashtags so that every time I open LinkedIn on my news feed, news related to these 3 hashtags will constantly be the first feeds which I see on my LinkedIn profile, right? LinkedIn algorithm automatically filters it. So go to improve my feed, choose the different hashtags you want to follow. That's another thing you want to do. And then start commenting on those people's posts, because start adding value, because the key is adding value, folks. Again, remember how I started the session? I said, when you have a service or a product, why should people buy from you? That's where you have to build trust, you have to build credibility and provide value. And the way to do that is you're going to start posting content, say at least to start with once a week or twice a week. And then you're going to start commenting on other people's posts, adding value, and then share other people's posts. If you cannot do commenting or posting, the least you could do, at least share a person's article. In that way, at least you get noticed by people on LinkedIn. Because this is the thing, folks. LinkedIn is literally your elevator pitch. And say you're looking for your job, you're looking for the next opportunity, you're looking to network with people. People look at your LinkedIn profile because it's rich SEO information, search engine optimization information, and it's indexed by Google. What I mean by that is, say, for example, a person is looking for career coaching in tech, right? When they put tech career coaching, I need to show up in the first 10 results of Google. And the way I do that is I put the right keywords on my LinkedIn profile so that I get indexed by Google. That's why your LinkedIn profile is the most important thing. So make sure it's updated first. And I'm going to do a whole session on LinkedIn, so don't worry about it. But coming back to what I was saying in terms of building a social media footprint, you need to start posting, you need to start commenting, you need to start sharing and figure out, okay, what your bandwidth is. And based on that, come up with a structure, okay? And be consistent. Consistency is the key, because people expect you to keep posting at the same time. They know, for example, if you look at the timeline of all my newsfeed, all my posts, literally it will always be 8 a.m. Chicago time, 8 to 8:15 a.m. Chicago time. I always post only during that particular time. So my audience knows that, okay, at this time, Raj is going to have some content out. That's my structure. And then once you figure this out, and once you do this consistently for 2 to 3 months, my advice would be is to come up with a content marketing strategy plan, or content strategy plan, right? So what do I mean by that? If people are interested, I could always do a whole session on how I come up with content and how I post it on LinkedIn. If you're interested, make sure, you let me know in the comments, or at least ping me that I could add it to one of the sessions I do. But the way I do content is I have a whole 30-day, 60-day plan of different content I'm going to post. I don't write content the day of posting. It's only 15 to 20% of the times I do that if something comes up. But I literally block a whole day just to write content, valuable content. And then I come up with a 30-day plan, a 60-day plan on what I'm going to do, how I'm going to post, what content I'm going to post, what conferences I'm going to, what things I'm working on. I literally plan my whole content. So what I would advise is you could have a Word document, and then for the next 30 days, just figure out in bullet points what you want to post. And that way you don't have to think about, okay, what do I need to post? Whenever I go for a run, or I talk to people, I have a notes app, or I use Evernote, where I keep noting down different ideas for content. And then I block a whole day every week just to write content and record videos. That's how I do it, right? But again, I'm more advanced stage of content, but you don't have to be that crazy. You can just start simple, start small, start simple. That's the key. Okay, let's next go to, I kind of talked about this, but I wanted to make sure I stress it's about starting to offer value to people to build your credibility. Again, the same example. If you want offer service or a product to a person. If you want someone to buy from you, why would they buy from you? They don't know your story. They don't know who you are. You haven't showed them you're authentic. You haven't provided any value to them. Why would they trust you? Why would they buy your service from you? Why would they hire you? That's where building trust and credibility is the next big thing you need to work on. And how do you do that? So here's some secrets which I follow, which you could follow as well. So first thing is always focus on the pain points of your ideal audience. So my ideal audience are tech folks who are stuck in their career, who need motivation, inspiration, and strategies to get unstuck. That's pretty much my ideal audience, right? And usually they're mid to senior level folks, but I do work with also people with less experience. But the point is that's my ideal audience. So I think about what their pain points are. Some of the pain points are usually is, how do I strategize my job application process? How do I ace interviews? How do I negotiate my salary? How do I be successful at work? How do I become a better communicator? How do I become a public speaker? How do I write conference proposals? So these are all like different pain points. So if you notice my content, everything hits pain points of my ideal audience. That's how you have engaging content. That's how you have a lot of views on your content. That's how your content gets shared, because you focus on the pain points. When you start focusing on the pain points of your ideal audience, then you start building trust and credibility, right? And then second thing is start with stories. So if you look at my content on LinkedIn, it follows a 4-part structure. First thing is you need to have a catchy title so that people actually look at it, okay? Second thing is you have to start with a story, 2 to 3 lines about a story about the topic you're going to talk about. The third thing is about the topic you're posting about. And the fourth thing is call to action. So now that they got this content, this value, what do you want them to do with it? That is the 4 key structure you need to follow to build trust and credibility through your social media posts, and focus on your ideal audience. Okay, so that's the 4th point. Again, just to summarize where we are at right now, we talked about doing the mind dump exercise. We talked about having clear vision, goals, and tasks. We talked about building a social media footprint. The 4th thing is offering value and building trust and credibility. The 5th thing is start writing articles, blog posts, because the more you write, you know, the internet is such a huge thing where literally one post can go viral and your life can change. But I'm not saying you write things for going viral, but you write things to show people that you have some value to offer, right? So what I would do is research different magazines in your domain, right? Say you're in the software testing domain, research different publications in software testing domain, and then pitch those editors about some different ideas you have. And you just need that one yes from an editor. And then once you have a article, then that's your social proof. Then using that article, you can start writing more articles. And that's how I started. I started with, I still remember this, in 2012. I was pitching people, and then one person said, okay, you can write this article. I think it was Tea Time with Testers. It still exists. I wrote my first article there, and that gave me the motivation and confidence, and I used that as social proof. And fast forwarding to 2022, I've written 134 articles. That's crazy. And I'm not saying this to boast about it. I'm saying this because it was just that one simple article which I wrote way back in 2012, which gave me the motivation and confidence, and that is the social proof. And I'm a contributing writer for really big magazines, read by 65 million plus subscribers. Like I'm contributing writer for Entrepreneur, Career Addict, Thrive Global, right? CIO magazine, CEO World magazine. So all these things happened because I just slowly started writing articles. Articles one way to go, but if you don't want to do that, another thing you could do is just start blogging. Literally, you can create a blog within 5 minutes, okay? You could just start blogging and then sharing that on LinkedIn. Or the best thing and the easiest thing, the more bang for your buck, is write a LinkedIn article. And when you, on LinkedIn, you don't need to have a big ass like sophisticated, complex article. Literally, it can be 2 paragraphs of something you want to convey to your audience, and then you can add it as a LinkedIn article, and that's it. And that itself is like a social proof for people looking at you saying, oh, okay, this person has a LinkedIn article. And you can even add that to your featured section as well. And again, we're going to have a whole session on LinkedIn stuff, so don't worry about it. But the point I'm trying to make is start writing articles, blog, and then LinkedIn articles if possible, because that is really going to help you stand out from the crowd. The next thing you want to do, again, I have a couple of more things, and then I'm going to make sure I answer any questions if you folks have some questions. The next thing is growing your network. Oh my God, I cannot stress how important it is to grow your freaking network. Because this is the thing, folks. Again, based on my real life story, there's been 10 years since I actually used a resume to apply for a job. And in 10 years, I've had 4 jobs, okay? That is the beauty of LinkedIn. Again, I'm stressing so much on LinkedIn because that's what people look at. When recruiters look for candidates, they look at your LinkedIn profile. When recruiters Google people they want to hire, they looked at LinkedIn. So the point is, you really need to grow your network on LinkedIn. And the way to do that is by following some of the things which I already mentioned, which is start posting, start commenting and sharing on other people's posts, and then you start getting recognized. Another thing you could do is tap into your own network. See who are your connections, who already are there, right? And then start networking with them. Now, another thing you could do is figure out who you want to follow in life, who you want to be like in life, who you want to be, who you want to reflect, whose behavior you want to reflect, who inspires you. Follow them, start connecting with them. And what that's going to happen is when you connect with other influencers and other people who are your role model, then you could, once they start commenting on your posts and vice versa, you can funnel their audience into your profile as well. And again, I'm going to talk about all the science and strategy behind LinkedIn in a later session. But the point is, you need to start growing your network. My goal was to make 5 new connections every week. Authentic connection. When I say authentic connections, that means someone who I really want to talk to. So you can start with a simple goal like that, or it could just be one new person per week. Once you start doing that on LinkedIn, then you're going to have really authentic connections. Again, folks, one thing in the social media world, I really want to caution you. Just because you have 100,000 followers doesn't mean you're great. Because out of those 100,000 followers, 99,000 followers could be random people who are not even your ideal audience. It doesn't even make sense. That's why you have to be really mindful on who you connect with. So for me, I have 5,000 odd followers, but each one of them, and I have about, I think, 10,000 people in my connections, but most of them, I would say, right, are authentic connections who are like-minded folks who are either in the same industry or trying to make an impact in this world, or who inspire me. So be really authentic when you grow your network. But the point is, I've talked about different ways on LinkedIn to grow your network. Then attend meetup groups. In fact, I'm going to do a meetup in a couple of weeks. It's actually about building your personal brand as well. It's going to be an extended version of this with some things. But the point is, attend meetup groups in your area. And now more than ever, it's much more easier to attend meetup groups because every freaking thing is online, right? So it's so easy to attend meetup groups. Then attend conferences. And again, conferences are online as well. There's never been a greater time to network than now in the post-COVID era, because it has changed the way we think about networking. Everything is online, okay? And yes, now, of course, I think people are now meeting in person, but the point is, you can use LinkedIn, meetup groups, conferences. Then there's another app which I highly recommend. It's called Lunch Club. I'm just putting it in the comments here. That's a great way to meet people as well. It's like meeting people in your industry or someone from an industry you want to get to. So Lunch Club is a really good application as well. So those are something which I personally use to grow my network, right? The next thing, the last two thing was continuous learning. You really need to keep retooling your skill sets, because one thing COVID has taught us is people who have been in the industry for 20 years, work for the same company for 20 years, and people who work for a company only for 4 months, both got laid off. Irrespective of what company you work for, Salesforce, Microsoft, everyone laid off people. That's why there's no security when it comes to job. When it comes to job, your particular job, there's only opportunity. And the way you get new opportunity is by continuously learning and retooling your skill set. You have so many different websites, like on YouTube, you have so many different content you can start learning. Then you have LinkedIn Learning. It's really great. They have a lot of free courses, and if you're a LinkedIn premium subscriber, then you have a lot of courses which they offer, and you can add those certifications on your LinkedIn profile, and that matters. I know people have a stigma when it comes to certifications, and I get it, but we still live in a world where, say, 5 people are interviewing for a job. If one person has different certifications and different extra courses they have taken, they are going to stand out from the crowd. And that's the way human mind works, as simple as that. So LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Coursera, Khan Academy, Code Academy, those are all really, really great places where you can continuously learn and keep upgrading your skill sets, because when the time comes, you can make that switch, especially right now during the Great Resignation, where there's so many jobs available, but there are also so many people applying for those jobs. So what is going to make you stand out from the crowd? These are the things which are going to make you stand out from the crowd. So continuous learning. And finally, what I wanted to talk about when it comes to your personal branding is underselling and overperforming. I know I may have talked about this in a bunch of my talks. This was the key ingredient in me becoming who I am today. I've been rated a star performer in 6 out of my 7 companies. I've won various awards as a great leader. I've got all this fame and credibility. And again, I'm an average guy, but the way I was able to do it is with all the things I'm literally sharing with you right now. And underselling, overperforming is one of the key aspects of it. So what do I mean by that? Say someone at work gives you a task and it's going to take 5 days, or say, it's going to take 3 days. What you are going to do is you're going to say that it's going to take 5 days, okay? And then you're going to try to finish the task within 2.5 to 3 days. And then for the next 2 extra days, what you're going to do is do something creative, put your own stamp on it. And then when you deliver it with some creative thing which you've done in a particular task. Say, for example, they ask you to enter data in an Excel sheet, right? Just random example. And it's going to take you about 2 days to enter whatever data they need to enter in the Excel sheet. Say that it's going to take you 3 or 4 days. And what you are going to do is finish the data entry within 1.5 to 2 days, and then do something creative, like start color coding the columns. Start adding some formulas, automatic formulas, which updates automatically. Start adding some macros where you can add some code to do some cool stuff. And then when you deliver the Excel sheet with this added thing, people are going to remember that small extra creative thing which you did. And when you do that repeatedly, consistently over a period of time, that's what people notice. So undersell and overperform. Literally, I followed this strategy in most of my companies, and that's why I was a star performer, because I would say, okay, I could do this, but then when I deliver something, I over deliver. I do something creative. And that's what you need to think about. If you have a current job, if you're looking for a job, if you're looking to pivot into another job, or whatever the case may be, constantly keep thinking about how you could do something creative to make you stand out from the crowd. And that's what it's all about, folks. You don't have to have this fancy freaking degrees from MIT, Stanford, Harvard. It's all about how you freaking show up. What are you going to do differently from other people? How are you going to convince people that you are the best shit who existed, right? You always have to remember, let's do epic shit. That's my motto. How are you going to do that? So that's why I talked about these strategies. So just to summarize, to close this whole personal branding talk, was do your mind dump exercise. Number 1, have clear vision, goals, and tasks. Number 2, number 3 is build your social media footprint. Number 4 is start offering value and build credibility. Number 5, start writing articles, blogs to let people know what you have in your mind. Help other people. Number 6, grow your network. Number 7, continuously learn. Number 8 is undersell, over freaking perform. And that's what it's about. So hopefully you got something of value from the session, because that was my goal. I'm gonna have a recording of the session, and we'll be posting it on LinkedIn in a week or 2. I think in a couple of weeks, there's going to be another session on a totally different topic. So make sure, again, you follow me. Let your friends know about this LinkedIn Live, because I'm offering free value here. I'm doing this because I think it's my responsibility to offer value. If people are following me or supporting me, I think it's my duty to actually do that. So let your friends know about these LinkedIn Live sessions. Again, it's going to be every couple of weeks. Totally different topic. It's going to be like just me talking, no freaking slides and shit like that. I'm going to be honest, open, literally give you actionable strategies. That's why even my book is called The No Bullshit Approach to Find Your Dream Job, right? I don't bullshit around. I literally give you strategies, and that's my whole book, Skyrocket Your Career, as well. But anyways, so remember those things. I really appreciate everyone's time. I know you're joining from just different time zones, but yeah, I'm really appreciate your support. Let your friends know, and I will see you folks in a couple of weeks. Thanks for joining. Take care.